What was the feeling among you guys when Ole left the Horsemen?
It was one of those things that you knew it was a point in time when things were going to change for the worse.
Right.
And you just knew it. There's nothing you could do about it. The snowball had started rolling down the mountain. It was too far ahead to stop it because he wanted to go home. He had only came back for a short time in his mind. We didn't know that, and this Horseman thing was so hot. You knew if you took any original player out, it would never be as good. Putting Luger in was a great. It was a great look for us, but Lex was big, green, and unknown. I mean, he had a fabulous look. Again, the girls loved it. It was great for the girls, but to replace him at that time, Ole Anderson. It was a step down. Luger went on to prove himself, and he got over. But at that point in time, nothing is ever as good as the original. The first group of Horsemen will always be special. The first NWO will always be special. You know, there are just certain things that you can't rehash. The first Midnight Express, you know, I think will always be special.
Right.
Lane and Eaton were nowhere as good as Condrey and Eaton. So I think it was a huge loss, and we all knew it. But que sera, sera.
When Lex came in, what was his attitude like?
He had a great attitude. He wanted to learn. He was willing to listen. Lex is Lex. Lex is pretty sharp, you know, as far as business dealings.
Right.
And he's probably the best self-promoter I've ever met. You know, Lex looks like $1 million today. He looked like $1 million the first day he walked in the door, and he has parlayed that look into being a very wealthy man. He can convince you in 5 minutes. He could sell a nun a jockstrap and make her think she got a good deal.
Right.
And that's just the way Lex is. I mean, he's a great self-promoter. My hat's off to him. Got nothing negative to say about it. He's great.
Did any of the guys ever complain, I guess, about Dusty's booking at all? Like any of the guys in the locker room?
Oh, of course.
Right.
Here's the reality. If you're not wrestling the guy you want to wrestle, if you're not in the town, in those days sometimes we'd run 2 towns a night. If you're not in the town that you want to be, hypothetically, we lived here in Charlotte. They ran Albany, Georgia. They ran Charlotte, same night. If you're in Albany, Georgia, you were pissed. If you were in Charlotte, happy camper. It's a thankless, never-ending, pain-in-the-ass job being the booker. When things are great, you look like $1 million. When things are down, you're an idiot. So,
were you ever disappointed that you didn't get to work with Rick in that era?
no, because I was so tickled to death being his partner.
All right.
It opened so many doors for me, and I sat there and marveled up close, you know, as a learning experience as his partner, and it was such a, well, let's just face it, it was a gift. It was, you know, Rick was responsible for me being in the position I was. I think I kept myself there on my own attributes, but obviously.
All right. One of the cameras just went off. Okay, we were talking about, what were we talking about just then?
Flair.
Oh, Flair. Okay.
Disappointed not
Okay.
wrestling Flair.
How about your series of matches with the Rock and Roll Express? You and Ole had some great matches with
Most
them.
fun I've ever had. It's the most fun. Ricky Morton was the most over guy at that particular time with strictly the girls that I've ever seen. And Robert too, but mostly Ricky. And you could move a crowd's emotion. You started pounding on Ricky, you would literally have people coming over the rail to get you. And that made a great scenario for a match. And it was great for the people, the fans. He was tremendous. They were so talented, and the fact that Ricky Morton looked like he was 12 years old, you know, and here's Ole Anderson, the heel of all time, pounding on Ricky. It was just match made in heaven, and we drew a lot of money with those guys.
Did Vince ever contact you at the time? This is like 86, 87? Or?
I was sent messages through wrestlers.
Right.
You know,
Nothing
but
official
never anything official.
How about your series of first matches with Sting? Well, I guess the first question to even go before that question, what was the vibe like when the UWF guys came over when Crockett bought Watts out?
I think that was such a huge misuse of resources.
Right.
We absorbed this company. We bought a territory that I don't know what we bought, because with the television, we could have just went in and ran the towns anyway. So
right.
You bought a losing prospect, but a lot of great talent. And it cost Crockett a lot of money, and it was one of those things that helped, in the end, was part of the demise.
Right.
That and Hot Shot and going out west and private planes and all that mess. But that's another story. But, there was some tremendous talent in UWF. And if we would have merged that talent with ours, we strengthened our company incredibly. But we went into this them versus us.
Right.
Jim Crockett being the boss, having the political pull. Obviously, our guys were favored. And it kind of squashed them as a promotion. And that was a mistake. And it was a huge mistake. So there was a lot of guys that would have been very beneficial at that time. We should have been smart enough to elevate them and us, combine the two.
Right. Seems like only a couple guys like Sting survived that whole deal.
Yeah. Big Bubba survived.
Right.
Some casualties with Terry Taylor.
Steve Williams.
Was Gordy there then?
No, I think he went back to Japan.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah, Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah, Eddie Gilbert.
What was Jim Crockett like as a promoter?
I don't know. I never got to know him.
Wow.
Obviously, I worked for the guy for 3.5 years, and he made me a tremendous living. I got close to Jackie. I was pretty close to David. But Jimmy is one of those guys that would never let you in. Never got to know him.
What were the initial bunkhouse stampede matches like?
Fun, but brutal. It's real easy when you got 20 or 25 guys in the ring. You're always going to have 7 or 8 not paying attention. A lot of broke ankles came out of that, some blown out knees. Obviously, a lot of stitches. But I think it was, exciting for the fans. 25 guys in there, come as you are, do what you want. I think it was the first kind of mass deal like that of its time.
Right. It was way before the Royal Rumble. So.
Oh, yeah.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.